Welcome to Anything Goes. I'm your 5-Wing 4 host, Madison.
And I'm your 9-Wing 1 host, Caden.
And Merry Christmas, because this episode is airing on Christmas Day.
Happy winter solstice, Hana, Kwanzaa.
Yes, happy whatever you celebrate. I got a shopping bag. I went to Maurice's, and their Christmas bag says Merry Everything. So, Merry Everything.
Very, Polly.
Yes.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Let's jump on in with our intro stuff. You can email us at EnneathingGoes@gmail.com, and you should definitely do that because we love hearing your feedback and we love reading your emails and stuff. We also have a Twitter, and it's also at EnneathingGoes. You should follow us there and tweet at us. That's really great. Also, I have taken to posting on Reddit in the Enneagram section. So you can also answer our question of the month in the Reddit section. Just look up the Enneagram Reddit and it'll be somewhere. I don't know. I might tweet a link to it. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. We can figure out who's really on Reddit. Sort of running bet on which Enneagram types are on Reddit.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I should just make a Reddit thing. Maybe we'll get more people there. I don't know.
Maybe.
Let us know if you want a Reddit page. If you'd use a Reddit page. No one really uses the Discord.
No.
No.
We had one guy. He was super nice.
Yeah, he was super nice. But yeah. Check us out on other platforms. We're pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. And we're also on YouTube. So you can check us out there.
Some things you should know before listening: with the sound super loud, we're not safe for work. So maybe put those headphones back in or crank it up louder. No.
Assert dominance.
If you're an 8, just really go for it. We're LGBTQ friendly. If that is frustrating for you, please leave. We're not professional Enneagrammers, Enneagramists, Enneagram
people. Yeah.
We've never taken any classes. We've read a couple books. Maddie reads more than me because she's a 5.
I completed a Udemy class, but I don't think that technically counts.
I have a job. Does that make me a professional? It has nothing to do with the Enneagram.
You do have a degree in anthropology, which is studying peoples and cultures and stuff. So you're a little more qualified than me.
I feel like theater is a good leeway into studying people. You just study them to take over their lives in a switcheroo scenario.
True. One of our assignments one time was literally just picking a person in a crowd and following them around and writing down all of their stuff. And we had to follow them for I think half an hour or something like that.
I don't think I could do that.
It was really awkward. But I followed my little person around for 30 minutes, and then the next day in class we had to become that person. Yeah. And it was awkward. Some people took it way too far.
Yeah, that's much. That's much.
That's a theater education for you, people.
What else do we have to say to people? We're not Christian. So, we're not anything. We don't exist. Don't look us up. Do you want to tell the kind folks out there about our new development?
I just finished launching our Patreon. So we talked a lot about whether or not we should do ads or maybe our hosting site, Buzzsprout, is very good about getting small advertisements for people, or like the little internet links to companies where they can input your phrase or something, and whenever someone purchases something with your phrase, you get a percentage of that purchase and stuff like that. I forget what those are called. So Buzzsprout is very good about doing that. And so we considered doing it, but ads are just hard to get in general and can be annoying for people, especially if you are especially if you are listening on something that does put ads on our stuff already. Like if you're listening through Spotify, like we don't get any of the money from those ads. But yeah, so I launched a Patreon. The link will be in the description. It's also on our Twitter, and I'm going to put it up on our website. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. Let's see here. We have 3 tiers. The first tier is the contributor. It's a $5 tier, and it says $5 per month because we can't change that. But you can donate that and then immediately cancel if you would like. So you can do that just a one-time thing if you want. And so this one, if you do it, you will get access to an exclusive newsletter. And all of this money will be, as I'm quoting from our page, it'll be ferreted away for bigger purchases. So if one of us needs a microphone, or if one of us needs something like that, or we need to get a book, it'll go towards that. The second tier is called the benefactor. So our hosting fees for Buzzsprout are $12 a month. So this tier is also $12. And so you can $12 per month, but you can also cancel at any time. So with this tier, you will get access to our newsletter and a handwritten thank you letter, because you will have just paid for 1 month that we're able to keep our podcast up on a website. And then our last tier is honestly a joke tier. We really don't expect anyone to do this. We also...
I feel like we shouldn't put that energy out into the world, though. I feel like, just leave it out there. Maybe someone's really excited about it.
That's true. If you have $600 laying around and you don't know what to do with it, I know what to do with it.
We're going to join a cult.
Yes, exactly. No joke. We will join a cult with this $600. There is a book that we want that is called The 9 Constituents by Ichazo. When Ichazo, he was one of the ones who pretty much brought this to like North America and got it kickstarted in North America and stuff. But he kind of took a turn towards the deep end and created the Araka Institute. And the Araka Institute is pretty cool. Yes. And so in order to get this...
Scrub that. I never said it. I coughed it. It didn't happen.
So in order to buy this book, there are 2 major hurdles that we have to jump over. And the first one is that the base cost of the book is $500. And right off the bat, that's too expensive for either of us to afford. The second problem is that you have to be a member of this cult. Not cult, the Araka Institute, technically. I don't think it's...
The Araka Institute.
Definitely
not a cult.
Yeah,
organization of a structured organization created by one very charismatic leader, all around a sort of spiritual purpose. No resemblance.
So the extra $100 that we tacked onto that $500 will be for the shipping cost of the book. We would have to pay membership fees. There also might be some other hurdles that we have to jump over, though I was looking on their website, and before, what had to happen is, in order to get this book, you had to attend 2 of their training sessions. Right now that has been removed from their website, but I don't know if that will happen, and the 2 cheapest ones are $25 a piece. So that extra $100 gives us a little bit of wiggle room that we can go to those trainings, or one of us can go to those trainings and still be able to get the book, and make sure we can securely get that book.
We both know that you're the one that's actually going to join the not cult, though, because I would go and really join the not cult. I would get sucked in.
Yeah, you might have to come and rescue me, but I think I genuinely think that I can just
You
kind
could
of
resist.
I think so, because I think I have a really strong bullshit detector, and I
I
think I'll
really
just
don't.
be
I'm really bad at telling when people are. I just assume that everyone is telling the truth to me all the time. It's not a good life philosophy.
Mhm. But yeah, also it says per month because we cannot remove that. We can't just get it to be a one-time thing. But we fully expect you to cancel it after that 1 month. Only do this once. Also, I have limited it so that only one person can be this Patreon.
Ah,
Yeah, because we can do that. We can set up a limit.
mhm.
If you do
So if
this
you
for
want the
us,
exclusive,
hmm if you do
one
this
in a
for us,
kind.
if you do this for us, you will get access to the newsletter like everyone else. You will get a shout out in one of our podcasts. Um, you will get updates, emailed updates from me going through the process and telling you about what it's like to join this cult and things like that. They might not be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen, but you will get those updates. You'll get some form of access to I don't know exactly how to put this
For
because
legal
on their
reasons, we're not giving you total access to the book,
well, the thing
but
is, in order to join the cult, I have to sign a non-disclosure agreement that I can't tell anyone anything about the cult. Um, so we will find a totally legal, legal way to get you some access to the information of this book. Email us for details. Uh, Also, if you want to just donate that book to us, you have it, you want to donate it to us, you are interested in it, and you want to get it and give it to us, um, please send us an email. We will take that, get this tier right off the Patreon.
send us
Uh,
a coded email, though, so you don't break
yes,
your non-disclosure agreement. You know,
yes,
like choose a
yeah.
cipher and then make it
Mm-hmm.
super cryptic, so we have to crack it, and then maybe we have to meet you at a certain point at a certain like time of day for the stars to align right, and then okay, I'm done. I didn't know. I wrote myself into a corner there.
But yeah, so those are our tiers. Please, if you can give to us, that would be amazing because right now all of the expenses are coming out of our pockets. So anything that you can give helps. Um, so yeah, thanks. Ready to move on to answer the question of the month?
Yes.
Okay. So in our last episode, the question of the month was you receive a pair of magic glasses in the mail, but they come with a warning. If you put the glasses on, you will see one future crime per day, which you will be able to stop from happening. But every night you will dream about one way worse crime that you weren't able to stop. Do you put on the glasses? This question was in an episode of Good Mythical Morning. And so we didn't come up with this on our own, but we wanted to see if there were any trends with different types. And there were a fair few, which this one we got some of the most replies ever because I put it on Reddit and a bunch of people responded. We got like, I can't remember. We got, I think,
There were a
19
lot.
replies. Yeah. So we'll just go through each type and say what our data was. So type 1s, we didn't get any responses from any type 1s. I assume that most type 1s would say yes because they're all about doing good, and so if they thought they could stop a crime and that would put good out into the world, they would do it.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. Ones are ones. Yes.
Yeah. So 2s were kind of split in their responses, and I don't know if it's maybe instinct variance or wings, unclear. But generally it tended to be that they still wanted to do good, but if they thought that they were going to put themselves in danger, they might not want to do it. So for instance, we had a 2ing 3 that said, nope, my husband worries about me driving in the rain. I can't imagine he'd be cool with me playing off-brand Batwoman every day. So
I don't know.
yes.
Sorry. I didn't mean to come off as so judgy. I definitely was judging a little bit, but I didn't mean it in that way. I know I did. I'm sorry. I'll keep my answers to myself now.
But then we also got a 2 with no indication of the wing that said 2, so hard yes. So I don't really know what the distinction was, and the 2s kind of pretty much seemed split. Hold on 1 second. Would you put on the glasses?
Yeah.
My 2 said yes, she would put on the glasses. So it's 2-1. I think in general 2s would lean more towards putting on the glasses, but I think it would also wear them down, because I think they would end up seeing too much. I think it would be hard on them, and so if they had a choice, they might take them off eventually.
I think the thing about the glasses, though, that people aren't realizing is that you could kind of like, do your time with them, wear them for a little bit, and then pass them on to someone else. This is the.
That's actually what another 9 kind of said, in a way.
Why do you guys think you have to do it all the time? Like, this is a set decision that you have to make forever.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so moving on to 3s, we also didn't get any answers from any 3s, and I said that 3s would say yes only if they could look heroic doing it. They would want to do it as more of an image thing. They'd want to be able to brag about it, because otherwise I don't think they'd actually want to be bothered with it. That might be a little harsh to 3s, though.
I think that for 3s, the second part would be a deal breaker.
Oh, the dreaming?
Yeah.
See, that's why I said it would only be if they could look heroic, because I don't think they would want to put up with the dreams without getting some kind of reward.
Right. Well, or just that like that's such a that's such an internal type thing, your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
No one is seeing you take on that burden for the dreams,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, also, I am not judging anyone that I think would say no, because we'll get to the 5 responses later. But I also said
5s
no.
are all like, fuck you.
Not all 5s. I was surprised. But anyway, moving on to 4s. No 4s replied, and I honestly think that it depends. At first I said no, but they go to stress in 1, which ones are more likely to do it, so they might like that. They also might like how it reflects on their image. Oh no, you're right. 4s do go to growth in 1. Oops. I messed that up. They go to growth in 1. So if they're in a good place, then
4s would have to
bless me, thank me,
actually have any sort of like self internal look in anything, like real. Okay, I framed that so poorly. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long day. Okay, I'm gonna start over. 4s would have to kind of like sit with themselves and acknowledge their own internal workings before they could really take on that extra shit. Otherwise, they just ignore it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know. 4s, chime in or don't. You didn't before, so I don't know.
You missed your opportunity, 4s. Better luck next time. Bye.
So coming up to 5s, and one of the reasons I wanted to ask this question is because on Good Mythical Morning, Rhett was being kind of judgy about people who would choose no, and I wanted to put out all the reasons why it is a horrible idea to put on these glasses. And my 5-wing-4s all agreed with me. In fact, 5-wing-4s, we got the most responses from, and they were all no. So some reasons you might not want to is that A, anything that you're getting in the mail that says, oh, we're gonna mess with your mind and stuff, it's cursed. Just flat, it's cursed. Don't don't do that. That is a bad idea. Like, if someone sends you something in the mail and it's like, put these on, you'll have these cool visions. Don't do it. Don't do that. That is a horrible idea. I would never.
I do think I would give them to my friend.
But so that's reason number one. Um the second thing is that any crime that I could feasibly stop is probably not a crime worth stopping, you know? I could probably stop someone from jaywalking. That's about it. Or I could probably report someone to the police for doing something like doing drugs. I could probably report them for that, but that's not really my business. And like I'm
Here's
pretty
the
sure
thing,
even
though. It doesn't give you a definition of what what bad crime or worse crimes is. I feel like if I had the idea that white collar crime is the fucking worst, I could just catch everyone and then go report them. And then
true.
all the crimes that I see that I can stop are things like fucking smoking weed and shit that I don't care
Okay,
about, or jaywalking, or like shoplifting. Like, yeah, I'm sure, whatever, but
but
like
you're forgetting a very specific caveat is that whatever happens in the dream, you cannot stop.
I wasn't able to stop, but it's because it already happened. It doesn't mean that they can't get in trouble after the fact. Just because something already happened doesn't mean that you can't get in trouble for it.
Okay. Fine. I will accept that.
And so for things that are like assaults and murders, then like, yeah, that's kind of, like you're beating a dead horse there, right? But
Mm-hmm.
for shit that's like, this person is embezzling money, or they're, committing fraud in this way, or like that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
If they already did it and I couldn't stop it, like the money's gone, but I don't really care because it wasn't my money anyways.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will give you that. I still wouldn't take it, and A, for the first reason, B, the second reason that I gave, and then there's actually a third and fourth reason, but the fourth reason I only thought of after a 7 said it. So I'll give that credit to a 7. But the third reason is there is no guarantee that you can actually stop seeing the bad dreams. All the wording is very vague, and I am not committing to anything unless I know that I can back out. And so my 5-wing-4s said in here's a direct quote from someone that we got. Quote, no, first I'd be suspicious of anything that came in the mail like that and would probably throw them out, assuming they're a gimmick. That's also assuming I bothered to check and go through the mail properly. I also want little to do with the criminal justice system, which I think is deeply flawed and unjust. Lastly, I have super complex, rich dreams every night and would never want to lose those. And then two other people commented on that one, which was another 5-wing-4 said, checks out, same, minus the active dream life. And then another 5 said, I'm also a 5-wing-4. I'm suspicious of messing with things I'd rather keep to myself. Who am I to think I should be messing with the crimes others want to commit? What if I interpret the visions wrongly? I would also be unlikely to open an envelope from an unfamiliar sender. I also have rich dream life, but they can also be bad dreams / borderline traumatic, so not really much of a deterrent, just like watching more true crime like I already do. So all of the 5s are like, nope, not my business. I don't open mail from people I don't know.
That tracks.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
tracks.
you know what I think I would really do with the glasses?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would send them as a gift to my friend who is a 4, and they wouldn't wear them, but they would keep them in a collection,
Mm-hmm.
like right next to their teeth collection.
What 4 do you know that has a teeth collection?
I don't think they actually have a teeth collection. I think they just really want a teeth collection. They keep on asking, they're like, hey, if you're getting dental work, could you send me your old teeth? I know it's an odd request, but teeth just seem cool.
Who is this person? Do I know
I
them? Have you
don't know them.
mentioned them?
No, they were going to be my roommate before that thing fell through, and now we have a different roommate, but I don't think you've ever met. They keep to themselves. They're a hermit. They have a 5-wing.
Yes. The 5-wing 6 though did say that they would put on the glasses, and I think it's probably the 6-wing. And maybe a little bit of disintegration to 7, because it's kind of like I'd want to see how things would work out and things like that, kind of. So, yeah.
6s did not reply.
No, 6s did not. I was kind of torn on what I think they would say, and I think it kind of depended on whether they're phobic or counterphobic. I think some would be too suspicious or paranoid to put them on, but others would really want to go out and tackle crime. So it kind of depends. 7s is where it got interesting, because we had a 7 who gave different circumstances. 7s really want to put on the glasses, mainly because they want to see what happens. However, they did give one instance where they said that they wouldn't put it on, and the reason they gave is
if it's causing.
Yeah, if the wearing the glasses, here quote, if wearing the glasses causes a worse crime than the one that stopped, I wouldn't wear them. I'd be tempted though. Sounds fascinating. It sounds fascinating. But they would really like to stop the crime, and basically they were like, it's just a dream. They also raised a point that the dream crime might literally just be a dream. There's no way of knowing if it's real or not, and in which case, if it's literally just a murder dream, why not? There's no harm in putting on the glasses.
Nah, if it's murder, then I'm not into it.
I feel like it would be good for like a 7 author who likes writing crime mysteries.
I'd go ask a partner, but she's in a meeting right now. Damn.
I think 8s, once again, I wanted more responses from this. 8s want control, which would be good. They'd get to take down criminals and could feel that control, but they'd also be losing control of their dreams. So I think it's a toss-up. I think it depends on how much their dream life means to them and whether or not they would be willing to lose that control.
Might then fluctuate based on like wing and sort of your personal preference.
So 9s overall, I think we just got 1 9 response, I think. But 9s have been more likely to trust the glasses just at face value.
Oh, I told you, I trust everything at face value. It's horrible.
Yes. And so I think they all at some point would put on the glasses, even if it was just out of guilt. And this one person went into detail about how they would feel guilty, and that basically they'd end up putting them on for a little bit, and then they'd get so tired and exhausted of everything, of having to deal with it all, that they'd take them off. And then if they were sitting around, they'd feel guilty that they were letting bad things happen to people, and so they'd put them back on. They also raised the question of stopping crimes.
Yeah.
The immorality of stopping some crimes.
That's a 6 disintegration right there.
Yeah.
That's what they're laying out is a 6 disintegration. Going there hardcore. Yeah. I feel like that's why as a 9 you just need to regift them, because then you feed into the chaos a little bit, But you're still like, it's not my problem.
I don't know if this guy could though, just because he raised a good point about you don't know what kind of crimes you're stopping. So for instance, you could be stopping a woman who's trying to steal food for her children. And
Uh-huh.
so the morality on that is it's more immoral to stop her from stealing, at least with their kind of moral value. Different
Uh-huh.
people will hold different morals for that. And so I don't know if a
Well,
nine would feel
that's
good
why
enough giving them away.
you don't stop theft. You know? Well, you just pick crimes that you are invested in stopping. And to be
Yes, but if
honest,
you give
with our
them
current
away to
criminal justice
someone,
system, there aren't a whole lot of them.
if you give them away to someone though, you have to rely on their moral compass.
No, I don't have to rely on anything. It's no longer my problem. I gave it away.
Oh, okay. Good point. I see how nines
Like,
could
that's
see
not
that.
my issue anymore. Here, have it, put it next to your teeth collection.
I don't think an eight could ever give them away because they wouldn't want to lose that control.
No, they keep them in their closet
Keep them in their closet or use them,
or
but
use
they
them.
would never give them away. As a
I won't.
five, they'd probably end up in the trash because I'm not putting a cursed object into someone else's hands. That's irresponsible.
But it's I don't know. Maybe it's just the allure of the cursed object.
Hmm. Don't get me wrong.
It's got an aesthetic.
If I disintegrated, I would be very curious. I would never put them on myself, but I might go to seven and put them on, get someone else to put them
Just to see what would
on.
happen.
Yes, but that's only if I disintegrate to seven, and I'm never specifically gonna put them on. I might go help them stop a crime or something like that, but that's a big if. It would have to fit my moral code. I'd have to have the energy to do it.
Oh, well, that's a big ask.
No. So I don't know. There'd have to be some. There'd also have to be just some hard disintegration for me to risk someone else, because I would very much consider them cursed. There's no other option. Like these are clearly cursed. There is a downside, and it's probably going to be a very traumatic downside. Like even if you do get to see the crime, it's still a curse in my opinion. These are cursed objects.
We do love a good cursed object, though.
Okay, so ready to jump into what this
Dude, what this
uh
episode is actually about.
yeah, good 30 odd minutes in here.
Uh,
Okay. So this is another Ennea-Resources episode. Today we're going to be discussing a book called The Modern Enneagram by Kacie
just
Berghoef.
butcher it now. Butcher it now and get it out of
Yeah,
the way.
Kacie Berghoef. I'm going to refer to her as Kacie because I don't want to mess up her last name, which also might be incredibly disrespectful. I don't know. And Melanie Bell.
Yep.
Um, yep,
Our good friends whom we've never met, Kacie and Melanie.
yep. So a little background on the authors. Also, I pulled pretty much all of this information off their websites, which will be in our show notes on our website or in the description on the YouTube channel. So a little bit about Kacie Berghoef is that Kacie is a content creator who writes books, articles, blog posts, newsletters, and social media posts. Her byline has appeared in Thought Co., The Billfold, ooh, I'm losing it, Exo Jane, MapQuest, 9 Points Magazine, and more. Kacie has assisted a wide variety of businesses with crafting professional, on-brand newsletters, articles, blogs, and social media presence. That's just a quote from her website. Um, I really couldn't find much else about them other than what they listed there.
Well, I have their
Melanie,
little introduction stories.
oh yeah? Here, I'll just give a little more background for Melanie that I found on their website, which is Melanie Bell is a certified teacher of the Enneagram personality typology. Um, she mainly works as an editor, though. Doesn't have very many publications for her own work. She's worked with the Enneagram for 10 years, and listen, we love this. writes a queer book review column for Autostraddle. We love a good LGBTQ supporter.
We do.
So
just from the book cover, back cover about the authors, Kacie has a master in social work. I think that's what MSW is, right?
I think so.
Okay. Well, they're both Enneagram Institute authorized teachers. But Kacie has a master's in social work, is a freelance writer and international speaker. She is the director of teaching. So Kacie does management, Melanie does teaching for their Berghoef and Bell Innovations company. So she has degrees in interdisciplinary leadership from the University of New Brunswick and a creative writing from Concordia University. Anyway,
all right, jumping into the book review. So do you have thoughts you'd like to share? Or actually, I think we should probably describe the book first. So I'll let you go ahead and describe how the book is kind of laid out, just because you have it in front of you.
I do have it in front of me. So it was written not written, it was written earlier than this, but it was published in 2017 by the aforementioned authors. They have 5 big parts in it, right? Part 1 is discovering the self. Part 2 is the Enneagram in practice. Part 3 is the Enneagram at work. Part 4 is the Enneagram in relationships. Part 5 is growth and change. And then they have like their appendix and resources and references. Overall, it's a very short read. It's only 170 pages or so, including the references and everything. Their sort of overview is they go into sort of what the Enneagram is, where it comes from and what it's like today, how it's structured, and does a really sort of broad but comprehensive look at the system of it. And then they go into each specific type, breaking out into like they formatted it in such a way where they have little like asides. They feel like
it's
help boxes, you know?
Yeah.
Where they talk to you and are just sort of like, here's a tip.
One of my favorite parts of the book is that they created a character and you kind of follow her through the book, and they write little sections about like what her life would look like as, I believe she was a type 7. That's what I think she was.
Julia. What is Julia hoping to get from the Enneagram?
Yes. And so you follow Julia and you get to see how she interacts with people in her life. And so it gives real and concrete examples of how these types interact and what these types might go through. And so it's very easy to conceptualize, which makes this an amazing book for beginners. Like, if you're just jumping into the Enneagram, this is a really great starting point.
Yep.
So let's see.
I did have one thing about their like Julia story and all of the different things. As I enjoyed it as a tool. But it felt less immersive than it could have been. You get like they were going for narrative, and I loved the narrative bit of it, but it also wasn't like super narrative, you know.
I just got swept up in the fact that her father was like a 5. And
like,
at one point, and at one point there was fighting going on. I think it was like over a holiday or something, and he got exhausted and just went into another room. And I was like, mood. um, but yeah,
I
I don't
see
know.
you've written in the I I I do love reading your little, so it, for the listeners at home, this is a book that we have sent back and forth. And there are little comments in the margins. And I do love this particular page, which has gay in highlighter, what a gay mom in pencil, and then 6 and a 9. Good match, I approve.
Who were the 6 and the 9? I can't remember.
This is Overcoming Dating Fears. It's Julia's sisters Mary
Oh, and
and
Mary is gay. That's right.
yes.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Yes, we love a good, like I said, we love LGBTQ supporters.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very LGBTQ friendly book.
So maybe, okay, maybe my complaint isn't a very valid complaint, because really I just wanted more of the story. Like, they were giving me some hot tea, and really what I want them to do is go write like a narrative fiction book through the lens of the Enneagram. Like, write a narrative fiction book, but then have like a little chat box on the side where they're talking about the Enneagram.
Fanfic about Julia's sister from the Modern Enneagram.
Yes, I want them to write a
Ah,
full-length novel about Julia,
listen,
our love.
if our newsletter takes off and like our Patreon gets popping and I actually have to send this out, I think I might do a segment
We
about
can write fanfic about Julia
yeah,
from the Modern Enneagram.
yeah. That'll be a
I
segment
just
each month.
like if you're gonna make me invested in someone's story, like, go all the way.
I wonder if we would get sued for like copyright infringement or something.
Well,
I don't
not if
know.
we're not really. I don't know. I think that'd be tricky. We can't make money off of it, but we're not really making money off the story.
Yeah, yeah, oh, I wonder how they would look at that. I don't know.
Maybe we just write general fanfic and we just send it out in our show notes. A little snippet. Like we can do like a little comic every week about Julia and her life.
Yes, yes. Uh, make it like Plicachan. Do our own little. I miss
So,
Plicachan.
okay, our good friends Kacie and Melanie, if you're listening to this, which you probably aren't, can you do that though? Can you write like a long form narrative book about this person's life and then just have your Enneagram stuff on the side in a
Mm-hmm.
little breakout? Have a third person omniscient narrator that's yourselves talking about the Enneagram.
Yes, do
This is
it. And
maybe this
listen,
is our book idea. You know, we've been talking
Melanie, you
about
got
writing a
that.
book.
Melanie,
We
you
can't write about Julia, obviously, but like,
an Enneagram kind of just story guideline.
right, maybe we can contract my partner who is a actual writer. Get her to write
We
a
can
story for us.
we can write a fanfic about me joining the Arika Institute.
About-
That'll be our comic.
It's our comic. We'll also include that in the. Go subscribe to our Patreon because you will get a little comic where we imagine what life at the Arca Institute might be like.
Yes. Um.
I'll do the visuals, you do the text.
Yes. Let's see. Back to content.
Back to actual content.
Um, so the only honestly the only real critique that I have about this book is that if you do know a lot about the Enneagram, it might not be the book for you. Um, and I really don't mean that as a bad thing. I honestly would give this book like a 10 out of 10. Um, just most of the stuff in it I pretty much already knew. Um, so it was kind of like a nice refresher course, I guess. But if you've been doing the Enneagram for a while, I don't necessarily recommend buying this book. Um,
Unless, of
But
course, you want to write Julia fanfiction.
that, or I do, like I said, I like supporting Enneagram authors, and especially since they're a little bit of a smaller one, they aren't wrapped up in any of the, Christopher Huert scandals.
Ugh.
It's nice to support them in their growing business.
The judgment was fully intended with that.
Yes. Also, they're not associated as far as we know. I did look, and I didn't find anything. So if they are associated, please let us know so I can go back and edit that out.
Right. I will
But
say, in terms of like content, the way that they graphically format the information, I like. My brain
yes,
enjoys.
it
It's
is.
fun and
Mhm.
it's interesting.
And it's so easy to consume.
Yeah.
Mhm. Um Also, content wise, I think they had a very nice section on how to type yourself. And I think it was very informative. The only thing that I think that they maybe missed from it is my big tip if you're trying to type yourself is to look at all of the different triads. So you've got your instinct, or you've got your like centers, which are the like head, heart, body, the intelligence centers, I mean. And then you've got the harmonic triads, which is how you deal with conflict.
Mhm.
You've got Hornevian, you've got object relations, and that's all I can think of off the top of my
I
head.
think those are the ones.
Hmm
The
But what you can.
social styles,
Hmm
conflict resolution styles, and object relations is what they call them here.
Yes. So one great way to type yourself is to go through each of those and see which of the three triads you fall under and see what numbers like
Yep.
eliminate based on that.
It's very fun because it's like a puzzle, and
Hmm
you get to think about things like, ooh, maybe you can make like a conspiracy port if you're having a lot of trouble typing yourself. And you get
hmm
to think about things like integration and disintegration, and also where all the triads are, and also
hmm
where all the centers are.
hmm
And you just do like a Venn diagram of it.
hmm But yeah, at least I don't think they mentioned that in their section. I might be wrong. It's been a little bit since I read it.
Finding your type. I'm at their little section. Uh, there's typing tests, and they list all of the things that you can go for your typing test. Give feedback from family and friends. Consult an expert. Read the descriptions in this book. Test results versus self-knowledge. So, no.
But yeah, so um, that's definitely a good way to type yourself that they didn't mention. Um, Let me see. Let me scroll through my notes.
Go ask people that dislike you what all of your worst traits are. I mean, like, literally, though. They'll tell
Yeah,
you.
but the thing is, it might be not constructive.
Probably not, but
Yeah. I'm not seeing any more of my notes that I needed to discuss.
No. I think content-wise, if you wanted to, you could probably find, like, all of the things that they're talking about in here, you could probably find it online. But
Oh yeah.
what you're paying for is for them condensing it and putting it into a format for you to consume.
Mhm.
You know? Like, in
Yeah.
terms of Enneagram theory, there's nothing here that I don't think that you could get off of, like, the Enneagram Institute website or any old, like, Google search and looking
Mhm.
through a bunch of stuff. But then you have to Google search and comb through a bunch of stuff versus having a, one book that's 100 some pages that you have to read.
Mhm.
Oh, and I have another note here that if you want to understand, like even if you're well versed in the Enneagram, I think if you want to understand other people, like getting a better overview of other types, this might be a good place to dip your toe in. And if you want to understand yourself and get a more in-depth look into what your specific type does, then like diving into some of the bigger texts might be helpful.
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
because they don't go super deep. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for, I mean, maybe this is just myself too. Like, I don't think I would read this. I mean, I'm also not new to the Enneagram, but I don't think I would read this and be like, oh man, that's a deep insight into my soul that I never knew before. I'd just be like, oh yeah, that's me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, but I could read this and say, oh, I hadn't thought about that other type that way, you know? I didn't know that people thought that way about themselves.
I just thought of another critique. Um, and the critique is for most Enneagram stuff, when I first started reading it, and most stuff that goes like deeper and is really getting at the core of stuff, I'm generally like, oh, ouch, that hurts a lot.
Yeah,
Maybe I need to put it down. I never had to put this book down. So it might not get to kind of some of the root of some of the issues that can be associated with your type.
right.
This book probably isn't very great for self growth. So if your main goal is self growth, this one might not be for you.
Yeah. And that's probably more of them talking about the uh, uh not the like the cause, but the symptoms, if it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like, you know, the cause and the root of your type is one thing, and like what you feel and think about yourself versus like the actions that you take, the external looking things. It's very good at pinning down the external,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't have as much attached.
Yeah.
Um, Anything else you want to say before we move on to all of our fun things?
Nope, that's about it. Um, so we're just gonna do a fun for our fun stuff section for this episode. We're just gonna do a little Christmas thing, which I have come up with what Christmas movie is each type, or what, I don't know how to phrase that. What Christmas movie? I've attached a Christmas movie to a type. Okay.
There we go. I have attached one Christmas movie to one type, and that is Die Hard. It's me.
Oh my God, I did too. Hold on, but we're I so the way we had this set up is that I was gonna read off my list and Kaden was gonna kind of debate them.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yes.
I don't know any Christmas movies. I know Elf.
Okay, so type ones are Christmas Vacation.
I explain the plot.
Christmas Vacation is about this dude named Walt Griswold who is 100% a one and he's married to a two. And what happens is he has decided that he wants to have the perfect Christmas ever. And everything is set out and him trying to do perfect Christmas. Like he drags his family out to get the perfect Christmas tree and everyone's miserable because he won't stop until he finds the biggest and best Christmas tree and then it doesn't fit in his house well. And then all his family comes to stay with him and he's so obsessed with trying to get everything perfect, like the lights perfect and everything like that.
His face looks like a 6.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, Clark Griswold, my partner just reminded me, is his actual name.
okay. Okay.
Thank you, KJ. um, so Clark Griswold, and then at the end of the story, his crazy cousin Eddie kidnaps his boss because his boss only sends him Jelly of the Month Club instead of his actual Christmas bonus. Spoiler.
Yes.
Oh,
I
spoilers.
will concur. I will concur, but I do think his face looks like a 6. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just the photos that Google Images is showing me. It's not the
um,
first one, but you know, he's got like a little bit of a cocky grin on his face. It makes me think of 6s.
so type 2, Elf.
I do love Elf.
Mhm.
Ooh, Buddy is a 2.
Mhm.
Okay, I
And I
agree.
kind of just, yeah. So type 3 is the Santa Claus. The main character is a very corporate business type guy who really cares
Uh,
about what people think, and I would place him as a type 3, and it seems just like a type 3 struggling with basically a curse, yeah. and having to like put Christmas
My Google
in.
searches are gonna be so fucked up after this. Just gonna show me Christmas everything.
But yeah, for type 4, I put Happiest Season, which if you have not watched it, is a
How?
great movie. My partner did not like the end. I liked the end of it. But I think 4s could really get into the mindset of like, oh, it's a honestly, it's a very kind of new revolutionary Christmas movie, as in I've never seen a Christmas movie with like
You know the girlfriend is a
gay.
7, right? That
Which one do
girlfriend
you
is
think is a
such a
7?
7.
Which one?
The one whose family it is.
Oh, I think she's a 3.
Oh no, that's I was watching that with my girlfriend and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a 7."
Really?
Yeah. It's the first scene where they go up onto the roof and she's just like, "Come on."
Okay, but when we discussed another thing that your 7 girlfriend would do is that she would try and get other people to go up on the roof, but wouldn't actually want to do it herself
Well,
because
it's
she'd be
the
too afraid of
I
trouble.
am pretty sure that it's a 7-6 wing versus 7-8 wing.
Mm. Is it then just disintegration to 1? Why
It's
she doesn't
the
want to tell her
running away
parents?
from consequences. She doesn't want to have to feel pain.
Oh.
It's not about the image, because for her dad, it's about the image. She doesn't care about the image. She cares about her parents.
Oh, you're right. You have swayed me. She is a 7.
I don't know what Kristen Stewart plays, like who she is in that movie, but I know that the girlfriend is a 7. And I know that I love the guy, the gay best friend guy.
The gay best friend is definitely a 5 because he tracks everyone and he has to know
He
everything.
does. Daniel Levy is a I just love him.
Yes. I definitely get 5 vibes from Daniel Levy,
Yeah.
his character. And also just showing up and being like, get your bags, we're going,
Yeah,
get your
we're
bags,
going.
we're
We're
going.
leaving.
Like, I've put effort into, like, you sounded like you need rescued and I care about you, so I'm here to rescue you, but, like, get
Yeah.
your shit and let's go, because I don't want to be here anymore, is
Right.
such a mood. Like, it's a very 5, like, I have only a set amount of energy, so get your ass in the car so I can rescue you and still be a good friend.
Do you think that Christian Stewart is a 4 then? Is that why you put 4 there?
It was less about what was in the actual movie and more about
Oh,
why
about
a
the
4
vibe.
would like this movie, and more like a 4 would kind of like to be hip and like it's a new Christmas movie and it's groundbreaking in its genre because it's
Yeah.
encapsulating gay culture.
It wasn't like the best movie, but it was gay. And to be honest, that's all I need to like things most of the time.
Yes.
And as soon as the industry is finding this out, I
Hmm.
will watch a lot of shit if you
If
just
it's
put gay
gay.
people in there. If you put
Yes.
gay people and black people in the same movie, my head will explode and I will watch it. You know, like
Yes.
that's it, right?
Mhm.
They're figuring it out.
Mhm. Um but yeah, so that was the best type 4 movie I could come up with.
What's
Feel
your
free to
type
just
movie? We're on
huh?
to fives. What's your type?
5? Okay, I said that type 5 was Home Alone.
Ah,
The reason being is because his reactions are very 5-esque. He goes to 8 when kind of confronted by his bully of a brother and is like, no. Loves being alone. And then instead of like getting help or something, he comes up with like an elaborate like thing to do, you know?
uh-huh.
Also, Lost in New York is him disintegrating to 7. Um, I just get very 5 vibes from that character.
I'll buy it. I'll
Yeah.
buy it.
Um, Die Hard, which you had as an 8 movie, I put as a 6 movie.
I don't know if I've
Um,
ever actually seen Die Hard.
I haven't, um, but my siblings who are 6s have seen it and love it. And they also argue, like, yeah. So there is that whole argument about whether or not Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Um, I feel like I honestly I have less of an argument for this one. I just kind of stuck it there because I was like, yeah, that seems to fit. And I don't know why it seems to fit, but it does. I will accept constructive criticism on this one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I felt like it was 8. I associate Die Hard as a thing with like all of the
It could be 8. I might have to move my type 8 to 6,
okay,
but
hold on. Can we pause? Can we pause for a minute on our recording stuff while I go watch the trailer, and I'll come back and I'll talk about what I've learned. I watched like a minute of that, and yes, it's 6. That's that undeniably. You can't fight us on it, but you're wrong.
I liked your quote briefly, which was he doesn't want to be a hero, but he's gonna have to be.
He really fucking wants to be a hero. Yeah. Come on now, yeah, you do. Yes. That's the whole point of the movie, is you being a hero. You're just having a fucking ego trip.
This is a 6 fantasy.
It is
basically, yeah. And
but it's also like having the setting and the scenario where you can kind of be like, oh no, I didn't want to be a hero, but I actually kind of like, I do want to, look at me, I'm protecting my people. Sorry, I'm a little bit maybe too judgy to it. It's just, there's a lot of masculinity shit in that I'm really not, I'm not trying to fuck.
Yeah. Okay, so that was 6s.
Okay.
7s, I said Polar Express.
Yes.
And the reason being is there's a big difference between the Home Alone character and the little boy and pretty much most of the people that get on the Polar Express. And the reason is Macaulay Culkin's character, and I forget his name, he gets shoved into the situations in Home Alone and he just takes care of them. He doesn't want to go out and he ends up in New York and is like, well, I'll make the best of this situation. I've disintegrated to 7. People trying to invade his home. I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and set traps. Like, I'm not,
Right.
Whereas the 7 Polar Express, all these children have the option of getting on a train. And if that train pulled up in my yard,
you'd be like, fuck no.
No, it's a cursed train.
No. I can guarantee you 100%, if even today as a grown-ass woman, if the Polar Express train pulled up, I would never see my girlfriend again. She would just leave. She would be gone. She would go.
I would be very torn, and it would honestly depend on whether or not I integrated or disintegrated about whether or not I would get on the Polar Express. There would be no way as a child I would, because I would be too scared. But as an adult, I might be like, oh, fuck it. If I get murdered, I get murdered.
What is our 8 thing though? Because I thought 8 was going to be Die Hard, but Die Hard is a 6.
So I propose How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Especially the Jim Carrey version.
Oh, yeah.
He's just so.
Mom is actually an 8 then?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of your mom.
You really do need to hang out with my mom more.
Yeah.
I can't type her. I thought she was a 2. And I was like, no, maybe she's an 8 that's integrated. Maybe she's a 6. Hell if I know. I don't really understand any of it.
But yeah, just so 8s are How the Grinch Stole Christmas then. And then 9s, drum roll for you. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He wants to bring people together at Christmas. He doesn't like conflict. He kind of resolves it,
I couldn't have gotten a Hallmark Christmas one. One of those like cutesy big city business goes to small town bookshop.
I feel like most of those women in those are 3s though.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Could be you integrating. I don't know. Do you disagree with Rudolph? I'm not going to be offended.
I'm only a little disappointed.
What
Rudolph
do you think?
Is fine. Can I be Frosty instead?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, Frosty is better because he's all about friends.
Yeah. Rudolph reeks of capitalism to me.
I originally had it as a 2 movie. And the reason being is because I feel like it would be the exact confirmation bias for a 2, which is
Uh,
everybody hates him until he's useful, and then it's like,
uh-huh.
people love me when I'm doing things for them.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
maybe the thing that about Rudolph that rubs me the wrong way is that I'd actually be like, oh, no, fuck you. I wouldn't want to help you. No, like, you're legitimately mean to me. I'd just be like, no, fuck you.
yeah, that's
I,
my 2 hates Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I think it's because it's kind of a call out post to
maybe,
2s.
maybe Rudolph is a 4 is in disintegration.
Honestly, that might be a better 4 one.
Maybe that's your 4 movie is
And
Rudolph. Cause
he's different,
yeah,
and he's special,
yeah.
and he has an idea. Oh, that's okay.
Can we
So,
rename this entire episode Rudolph is a 4?
yes.
Or put
I'll
it in the
put,
show notes somewhere?
instead of Christmas stuff, it'll just be Ennea-Resources, the
And
Modern
Rudolph is a
Enneagram,
4.
and Rudolph is a 4. Okay, so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is type 4, and then Frosty the Snowman is a type 9.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I am
He
very
was a
pleased with that.
holly jolly lad. And I too am a holly jolly lad.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Frosty's a type 9. And that's really all I had. I didn't come up with New Year's resolutions for the types
Nah, we
and
don't
shit
need to
like
do
that. Nah. It's also already so long, so I don't
We've
even
been
think we need
talking
to
for a long
do the
time.
year update.
Nope.
Yeah. So let's
You
just
guys
wrap
did.
up.
Yep. You don't get to know anything about our lives. We don't have
Yeah.
lives. We don't exist outside of this podcast.
Yeah.
Surprise.
So, our next episode, we're gonna start our next series, and our next series is gonna be on all the different triads. And we're going to kind of ease ourselves into it, and we're going to start with just the intelligence centers first. And so next week's episode is going to be on the body triad.
Mm-hmm.
And so for our question of the month, we want to ask specifically the 8, 9s, and 1s of the body triad. What body part do you wish you could detach, and why?
Bonus points if you're trans.
Oh, yes. Bonus points if you're trans. So email us those answers, EnneathingGoes@gmail.com. Tweet us those answers at EnneathingGoes. Follow the Discord, reply on there, or I'll be posting this to Reddit. You can also answer in the comment section of our YouTube. So
Yes.
um, leave us a review on iTunes. We love seeing those. And thank you so much to everyone who has sent a review. And um, yeah, that's it. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thank God
Um,
2020 is over. Woo!
yes. Um,
Congrats,
yeah,
y'all. We made it.
we did. I will share one thing, and that was at the beginning of this year, I did do a list like New Year's resolutions, and pretty much all of them completely went out of the window because of COVID. COVID destroyed even some of the most basic ones, which I had been going to the gym 3 times a week, like my resolution, and then all the gyms shut down, and I couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
Um, and the place where I lived was not a great area for like running and stuff like that, so I kind of just stopped
I
exercising.
haven't
But
been to the gym in like 9 months.
yeah,
Holy shit.
so, yeah, but the one New Year's resolution that I was actually able to keep was that I wanted to put up one episode a month for this podcast. And not only did I did it, there were a couple months where we got 2 episodes up. So this has been the
Wow.
only New Year's resolution that I was able to keep this year.
I feel so special.
Yeah.
Guys, we're so special. Look
hmm
at us helping
So
Maddie.
yeah. So thanks to everyone who has listened. Um, it actually feels good to complete something this year. Um, so yeah. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.